We're counting down the top 3 Lincoln pennies that could turn pocket change into a small fortune. We're talking rare dates, shocking mint errors, and coins hiding in plain sight that could be worth thousands, or even millions of dollars at auction. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who checks their change. One of the most sought-after modern rarities in U.S. coin history, the 1983 copper Lincoln penny, a coin that wasn't supposed to exist yet somehow escaped the mint. Stay with me, because I'm about to reveal the full story behind this accidental treasure, how it was made, why it's so rare, how to spot one, and just how much collectors will pay if you discover it today. The background: the story begins in 1983, when the U.S. Mint made one of the biggest changes to the Lincoln penny since its debut in 1909. For decades, the cent was struck from 95% copper, 5% zinc, weighing 3.11 grams. But rising copper prices meant that by the early 1980s, the metal in each penny was worth more than 1 cent. The mint was literally losing money making money, so, in the middle of 1982, they made the switch to copper-plated zinc coins, 97.5% zinc core, only a thin 2.5% copper coating, weighing 2.5 grams. Double die reverse. $30,000 to $40,000. Off-center strikes. $10,000 to $25,000. Wrong planchet strikes. $50,000 to $60,000. How to tell if you have the copper version? There's one simple way to check. Weigh the coin. Copper penny, rare 3.11 grams. Zinc penny, common 2.5 grams. You'll need a digital coin scale that measures to at least 0.01 grams. Copper coins have a richer, red-brown tone when aged. They make a higher ping sound if gently dropped on a hard surface. Zinc cents sound dull and flat. If you find a 1983 penny that weighs 3.11 grams, you may have struck gold, or rather, copper. Auction records that shocked collectors. Real sales prove this isn't just hype. 1983 copper penny PCGS MS62BN $15,600. Heritage Auctions 1983 D copper penny 58 Australian dollars $18,000. Stack's Bowers 1983 copper double die reverse MS65 RD over $40,000. If an MS67 red example was ever found and certified, bidding wars could easily push it past $250,000, and if 2 determined collectors went head-to-head, we could be talking near million territory. Selling your find it, if you think you found one. Don't clean it. Cleaning destroys value. Get it authenticated by PCGS or NGC. Consider consigning to a major auction house like Heritage or Stack's Bowers. They have the right audience to push prices sky high. The 1982 small date copper Lincoln penny is one of the most valuable coins in U.S. history. How to identify it, the rare errors that send its price skyrocketing, and exactly how much one could be worth if you find it today. The background: 1982 wasn't just another year for the Lincoln cent, it was a year of dramatic change at the U.S. Mint. For decades, pennies have been made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing 3.11 grams. But copper prices were climbing fast, so much so that by the early 80s, it actually cost more than 1 cent to make a penny. The U.S. Mint decided to make a bold switch. Early 1982 pennies were struck from the old solid copper planchets. Later 1982 pennies were made from a cheaper copper-plated zinc core, just 2.5% copper, 97.5% zinc, weighing 2.5 grams. Double die obverse DDO, $5,000 to $20,000. Off-center strikes. $9,000 to $15,000. Broad strikes and wrong planchets, $50,000 to $30,000. How to identify one? Check the weight. Copper, 3.11 grams. Zinc, 2.5 grams. Use a digital scale that measures to at least 0.01 grams. Listen to the sound, drop it gently on a hard surface. Copper rings with a higher ping, zinc makes a dull clunk. Look for the small date design features described earlier. Pro tip: always check both Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, D, pennies from 1982. Real auction sales price proof. Big money. Here are some jaw-dropping real-world prices. 1982 small date copper, MS67 red $18,800 Heritage Auctions. 1982 small date copper, MS63 brown $12,000 private sale. 1982 small date copper double die obverse, $15,000 Stack's Bowers. And remember, many are still out there, ungraded, sitting in penny jars waiting to be discovered. Conclusion: the 1982 small date copper Lincoln cent proves that hidden treasures still exist in your pocket change, in your desk drawer, even in that dusty jar in your garage. If you find one, you could be holding a piece of American history worth hundreds, thousands, or even life-changing millions. So the next time you see a penny, don't just pass it by. Check the date, check the weight, and remember, sometimes, the smallest coins hold the biggest secrets. Today, we're diving deep into the story of the 1981 era Lincoln penny, the history behind it, the errors that make it insanely valuable, how to identify them, and real auction prices that will blow your mind. So don't blink, because by the end of this video, you might be checking your change jar with a magnifying glass and possibly becoming an overnight millionaire. The historical. To understand why the 1981 penny is so important, we need to step back in time to an era when America was just about to say goodbye to a tradition that had lasted for more than a century. From 1909 to 1982, U.S. pennies were primarily made of 95% copper. But copper prices were climbing rapidly in the late 1970s and early 1980s. In fact, by 1981, the metal content of a penny was worth almost as much as the coin's face value. This was a problem for the U.S. Mint. They were essentially losing money to make money. Struck on the wrong planchet, $5,000 to $15,000. Off-center strike, $3,000 to $10,000. Double die obverse DDO, $12,000 to $25,000. Real auction sales that shocked collectors. Let's talk real money. These aren't just values, these are actual hammer prices from auctions. Off-center strike, 80% off, MS65 red sold for $9,200. DDO MS67 red sold for $15,000. Struck on dime planchet, MS66 sold for $12,500. Transitional zinc error, MS65 sold for $240,000 at Heritage Auctions. Unique 1981 transitional strike with provenance rumored private sale of over $1 million. These prices prove that 1981 isn't just another penny year, it's a gold mine for error hunters. How to identify these errors? Here's what to check before you toss a 1981 penny back into circulation. Weight test. Copper 1981 pennies weigh about 3.11 grams. Zinc pennies, rare transitional errors, weigh about 2.5 grams. Look for off-center strikes. If the design isn't centered, measure how much is missing. The more dramatic, the better. Check for doubling. Use a 10x loop to inspect the date and letters for doubling. Planchet color. If it's silvery or unusual in color, it might be struck on the wrong metal. Proof coins. Look for sharp strikes, mirror-like fields, and unusual mintmark styles. Why collectors pay so much? Collectors chase 1981 era pennies because, last year of copper, it's the end of an era. Transition year rarity. Transitional errors from this time are among the rarest in U.S. history. The mistakes are bold, visible, and exciting to display. Auction competition. Rarity plus demand drives intense bidding wars.